Why was the Panama Canal built, and why does it still control global trade today? Are you ready to hear the real story behind one of the greatest engineering miracles in human history? A project so brutal it consumed over 100,000 lives just to reshape the map of the world forever? Ranked as one of the 7 wonders of the modern world, the Panama Canal is not just a waterway. It is a man-made scar carved through the earth, linking the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, rewriting shipping routes, military strategy, and even the fate of nations. Stretching over 77 kilometers, cutting through dense jungle and unstable mountains, this canal shortened global shipping routes by up to 15,000 kilometers. But behind this achievement lies a story few people truly understand. A story of death, failure, and ruthless geopolitical ambition. Before the canal existed, ships traveling between the Atlantic and Pacific had only 2 terrible choices. One was to sail around Cape Horn at the southern tip of South America, battling violent storms for weeks in one of the most dangerous seas on Earth. The other option was even worse: unloading cargo, transporting it across land, then reloading it onto another ship. Slow, expensive, and often deadly. Everyone knew that cutting through Panama would unlock the ultimate shortcut for global trade, but no one dared to believe it could actually be done. The first to try were the French, fresh from their success with the Suez Canal. Confident and ambitious, they attempted to replicate their previous victory. But Panama was not Suez. Instead of flat desert, they faced dense tropical rainforest, relentless rainstorms, landslides, and rivers that could rise more than 10 meters in just hours. And worst of all, invisible killers. Mosquitoes carrying deadly diseases like yellow fever and malaria. Workers died in massive numbers. The death rate became so high that they could barely recruit new laborers. But the biggest mistake was their strategy. They tried to build a sea-level canal, just like Suez, ignoring the mountainous terrain of Panama. It was a fatal miscalculation. After 8 years, with only 40% of the project completed, the French effort collapsed. Over 22,000 workers were dead. Hundreds of thousands of investors lost everything. The dream was shattered. Just when the world thought the canal was impossible, the United States stepped in. They bought the failed project from the French and made one thing clear. This was not just about trade. It was about controlling global shipping and military power. To secure the canal, the United States supported Panama's independence from Colombia, then signed a treaty granting them full control of the canal zone. Behind this move was pure geopolitical calculation. But even with money and power, they still faced the same deadly problems: nature and disease. So they changed everything. First, they abandoned the idea of a sea-level canal. Instead, they invented a revolutionary system: locks, giant water elevators that could lift ships up to 26 meters above sea level, carry them across an artificial lake, then lower them back down. This single decision reduced excavation work dramatically and turned an impossible challenge into a solvable one. Second, they launched a massive war against disease. At the time, many people did not even fully understand how diseases spread. But the Americans implemented large-scale mosquito control, drainage systems, sanitation, and medical programs. For the first time, the death rate dropped. Workers could survive long enough to finish the job, but the hardest battle was still ahead. The most dangerous section was the Culebra Cut, where workers had to carve a path through unstable mountains. Landslides constantly destroyed progress. Millions of cubic meters of rock were removed, only to collapse again after heavy rain. It became a brutal cycle: dig, collapse, rebuild, repeat. At the same time, the Chagres River threatened everything with massive floods. The solution was even more ambitious: build a giant dam and create one of the largest artificial lakes in the world at that time. This lake became the main route of the canal and controlled the flooding. The lock system itself was a masterpiece. Massive steel gates, each weighing hundreds of tons, controlled water flow with incredible precision. Ships were lifted and lowered using gravity alone without pumps, with accuracy down to the smallest margin. After years of struggle, on August 15, 1914, the Panama Canal officially opened, and the world changed instantly. Shipping routes were revolutionized. Trade became faster and cheaper. Entire economies were reshaped. The canal became one of the most important strategic assets on the planet. But the story did not end there. For decades, the size of ships was limited by the canal. If your ship was too big, it simply could not pass. This influenced global shipbuilding and trade for generations. As global trade expanded, ships grew larger, and the canal faced obsolescence. So Panama launched a massive expansion project, investing billions to build new, larger locks. In 2016, the expanded canal opened, allowing a new generation of massive ships to pass through, extending its relevance into the modern era. Even today, the canal remains critical. Around 5% of global maritime trade passes through it. It is not just an engineering marvel, but a lifeline of the global economy. But it is also fragile. The canal depends on fresh water. Each ship passage uses enormous amounts of water. When rainfall drops, water levels fall, and traffic must be restricted. Climate change now threatens its future, and beyond engineering, the canal has always been a geopolitical weapon. Whoever controls it holds influence over global trade routes, pricing power, and even military movement. From its violent birth to its modern dominance, the Panama Canal is not just a construction project. It is a symbol of human ambition, sacrifice, and control over the world's most critical pathways. Now the question is, what shocks you more? The unbelievable engineering behind it? Or the blood, cost, and power games hidden beneath its surface? Leave your thoughts in the comments. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next deep story.